Hey, LTP family, before we get into episode number 203, I want to take a quick moment and say, hey, Eric, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. Hang in there. We got you. Let's get through this. All right, now let's go to episode number 203 of the LTP.
All personnel, clear the launch platform.
All personnel, clear launch platform. Disneyland is your land.
The Leaving Today podcast, the show about the news, history, and attractions of the Disneyland Resort.
Disneyland is your land.
Well, come on, Wendy. Let's go.
But where are we going?
To Neverland.
Neverland.
Hello, and hello. Welcome to Leaving Today podcast, episode number 203. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, this afternoon, this evening. We very much appreciate it. My name is Mark, one of the co-hosts here of the LTP. Sitting to my left, actually sitting to my right this morning is the Trollmaster Puppets himself, Udi.
So you make an L with your arms to figure out which one's left and which.
Yeah. Well, I was looking left, sort of, but then you know how it is.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Now sitting to my left via FaceTime is Becky.
Good morning, you guys.
Good morning, Becky. Thank you so much for joining us today. Jess will be calling in, I hope. We think she has a work crisis this morning.
Yeah. Looking at those pictures, like, holy sweet.
Oh, yeah. She,
She's like, this is what I'm dealing with this morning. I'm like, holy cow. All right, well, have fun with that.
Yeah, and just to let you know.
She's busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're recording early on a Sunday morning. Well, early morning, I suppose. And usually she wouldn't be to work for a couple hours, but she had to go in and take care of some mess.
911.
Yeah. So
Problem with being in charge.
Yeah. Okay, so hey, Disneyland lovers, this is your first time finding us. Welcome. We hope you find the water to be warm. We are a very open and honest Disneyland podcast. We love the parks. We love the company to the most part. But we do love the parks more, and we want them to succeed. Think of us as your best Disneyland friends you have not met yet, but we would very much love to meet you. Today's show is sponsored by you guys and girls, the listeners of the LTP on Patreon. You can do that by going to leavingtodaypodcast.com, clicking on the Patreon link, and the options are there. And, you know, we had a new Patreon listener, and sorry, man, I know you said you wanted a shirt. I will get to you on that. My bad. And I will get that to you. And Gare Bear, I think I owe you a shirt as well. Sorry about that. I just need to publicly say that so it's on the record so I can do that. And we also have some T-shirts that you can buy. You can find them on our Instagram page, and there's a link tree on there that takes you to TeePublic. And then also you can go to teepublic.com and look for Leaving Today podcast T-shirts. So yeah, all right.
And don't forget to, when you're booking your next Disneyland trip, give our good friends at the Eden Rock Hotel a look. We have a special discount code, Eden Magic. That's EDENMAGIC. You can use that for a special discount of 30% off your stay.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Becky. Yeah, our friends at Eden Rock pulling through, and look forward to how that develops. Awesome. Okay, today we're going to talk about our thoughts about D23. I know we're a little bit late on that, but that's okay. We always are.
And to be real, I'm glad we are, because we've had a moment to kind of let everything, because a lot of people want to jump on it right away when it's happening. That's fine and everything, but I like the fact that we delay at times, because we let things kind of hash out and let it kind of filter through, and then we can kind of get to the real about what it is and what we think. Because in that moment, we just are going off bare emotion, and it's okay. But I like that we take a pause and kind of take a breath and go like, okay, what's for real here?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
It's that
we needed it to marinate a little bit.
Correct.
Very good word. Very, very good word. Marinate's a good word. We need to exchange marinade recipes sometime, Becky.
That sounds good. We could do that.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk about D23 and we have the news, but we do have an opening question. And what was that, Udi?
So going off of D23, D23 always has this big, huge, blah, 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 look at all the great things we're going to do. Okay, cool. How often, and so the question is now, how much of that do we really think is going to happen?
For our parks or
in general?
Parks?
In general. In general. Okay. I mean, our park only had like one thing.
Well, when I say our parks, I'm talking about the whole resort with DCA and Disneyland.
No. Okay, so that's three things. It's with DCA.
We've had quite a few things, more than three, I think.
Oh, only three that I can think of. We'll go into it. But anyway.
Yes, we will.
And so basically over everything, everything that you guys know and have heard, how much do you actually think is going to get implemented by Disney? I won't even get into how much and how much of it is going to be, if they do implement, is going to be what they said they're going to implement.
Yeah.
Those are always wonderful, wonderful questions to ask. And a lot of people who throw pixie dust over everything don't ask. And I subjected myself to listen to a few different things because people are like, oh, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you people. I'm glad that you're excited, but holy crap, like, where's your sense of reality with Disney? You're not going to get a lot of this.
Well, Damaro says these aren't blue sky anymore.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Anyway.
Didn't they have to beep you out?
Yeah, I know. I stopped myself.
Okay. So, Becky, do you want to tackle that first? Do you have thoughts on that?
That's a tough one. I was trying my best to pay attention to some of the wording around things because I do feel that can often be an indicator of what is actually in place and currently moving forward and what is a blue sky. I would say I don't have a lot of hope, I guess, for everything getting done at this time. I sure hope that it does, but I find myself thinking that as Disney Forward progresses, there can be a lot of changes that way. I'm going to say maybe like 50% of it.
Really?
Which is kind of high.
Yeah,
because I think, I guess if we're talking every part, maybe that drops down a little bit to like 30% as it's shown today.
Yeah.
But if we're just talking Disneyland, I'm thinking like 50% because, like Udi said, there's only like 4 things.
Right.
And I think that, I guess we'll get into more of the specifics later, but like Avatar, I think is pretty much in place.
Yes.
And I can see that moving forward. I hope that Coco is going to come and be as great as I want it to be. Although that kind of seems on the back burner. So I don't know. And I don't know with confidence that we're going to get everything in the Marvel area. But I would hope, because I think that they'd be great additions.
Yes.
So I'm going to go with 50%.
Okay, 50%. That's pretty high. So, gosh, what was announced for Paris? Anything? There must have been, right?
Yeah, Lion King.
Okay,
I don't even want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean,
amazing.
To be honest, full transparency, I know very little about the politics behind the Disneyland Paris park, or even Tokyo. I know it's owned by Oriental Land Company, so they have a different business model there than we do here. So I think whatever they say they're going to do, they just go and do it. And that Lion King thing, look, if we couldn't get Country Bear Splashdown here in Splash Mountain, I would have voted for the Lion King thing. In our park, but be it as it may, we're not getting that. So I think they will be pushing that out there, and I love the fact that it's different than anything we have here. I'm not a fan of having 2 identical sections in parks. From a fan's perspective, I would go, I would love to go to that park because we don't have that, which is my complaint about Galaxy's Edge. If Florida had Batuu and we had like Endor, which I think Endor would have fit perfect in our park, I'd go, well, okay, I love Endor here, but now I need to go check out Batuu. And if the roles were switched, I go, we need to go check out Endor in Florida. But so I'm going off on a tangent here. I think with our parks, what we're going to talk about a little bit later, I think it's pretty much all guaranteed to happen. The Walt, Coco, Avatar, Avengers. The only thing with Avengers is maybe they announced 2 attractions. I could see them going, well, we only have time or budget for one of these. So I could see that that smaller Stark, what's it called, test flight or whatever that thing's called. I could see that thing getting scrapped. Not that I say I wouldn't try it. I would probably try that thing, although it has motions that probably would get me sick. I would still try that thing because it looks cool. But 2 attractions, they would have 4 attractions in Adventures Campus with that. Yeah, I could see that thing getting scrapped. But everything else, I'm going to say a little bit higher. I'm going to say like 70%, 75% of what was announced they're gonna do. Yeah, for our parks. Oh, like Florida, I don't know. Dino Land, yeah, I think that's going to happen. Villains Land probably has to happen. That Cars Land, we can talk about Rivers of America over there if you want, because I know there's a lot of people that are just upset, me included. That's probably going to happen, is my guess. So for our parks, I'm going to say comfortably 75%, where the only caveat is that 4th Stark flight thing may not come to fruition. Okay.
Well, let's see. I think when it comes to our park, I don't believe a word that they say. Let me back that up.
You're there.
I don't take it and say that's it.
Sure.
Okay. For everybody who's excited about it, cool. But I think the reality is Disney has a proven track record of not delivering on what they say they're going to deliver on.
Yeah.
Hence the question, right? I don't know. When it comes to our park, I'm kind of torn. I'm going to fall somewhere in between both of you guys, because I think that from a huge level, Disney needs to begin delivering. Okay. And I've been saying it for a while that I think the writings begin to show up on the wall more and more that they're correcting. And only because they've been forced to, because if not, the company's going to go down. And anybody who's paying attention, really paying attention, is going to see that.
Yeah.
So I think there are signs, and this is why I think we're probably going to get 60 to 65% of it. And a lot of it is not going to be anything near what the concept art is going to be. That's why I'm like, so we may get all these things right, but the reason why I'm taking chunks off it is because it's not going to be what they're saying it's going to be. Galaxy's Edge being one of my key points to point at, and then look at Avengers Campus and other things. Like, there's so many things. So I think they need to deliver on Avengers Campus. I think they need to do that. I think it'd be great because that part of that park, because they've been forcing everybody to try to make DCA an all-day park.
Right.
And we've often said that it's not there yet. They can keep on pushing for it, and eventually it could get there if they continue. And I think these are the moves that they're doing to try to make that happen. So they need, if they're really trying to make that happen, that's why I kind of think why they announced more to DCA than to Disneyland, is because they're trying to make that fully justified. Like, look at all the things you have over in DCA. So it's a full day park. And they're trying, without going too deep in it, that's how they're trying to start to divide the things up and try to mitigate crowds and all that kind of stuff that hopefully will eventually come back. But I think that's it. So I think they're going to do that at Adventures Campus. I think I don't feel confident currently with whatever they're doing with Avatar. I don't, and Coco, I would love it. I would love that because I said it before, Coco is one of my favorites. So yeah, that would be great. But I don't, again, I'm going to come back because after D23, after what they presented, I even got more, I become even more skeptical of what that's going to be. Even though they did the models, even though they did all this stuff, and people are going to look at me, well, they did all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't make any logical sense to me. Like, again, removing the pixie dust off the top of it, like dusting it off.
What doesn't make logical sense to you?
Where they're going to put it, how they're going to, they did none of that.
Oh, yeah, they didn't. Okay.
So when you look at it, like, we automatically will break down. I mean, we did that on LTB Lounge. We broke down like the area, and we went into like, no, the reality is this. They can say all they want, but you say you want to put 50 pounds into a 5-pound bag. You can say that all you want, but you're not going to do it because it's physically impossible.
Yeah.
So this is where we're at. So I think it's going to be around 60 to 65%.
Okay.
Because I think Disney has to, and I think Disney, for the most part, realizes that they have to. But that being said, they're not going to. They don't have the budget, and they don't have the leadership up in the C-suites right now to pull any of this off to the extent that they could. Which is sad for me to say, but it's the harsh reality of the world.
Yeah.
They invested in without going too far into D23, heavy investments on the one area of the company that is actually turning profit is the cruise lines, and they went ham on it, which is what Disney does. Anyway, so I'm going to go with 60-65%, but I would not be shocked if it drops down to 40 to 30%. I would not be shocked at all.
Oh.
If they get nowhere near it.
Okay.
And again, going back to the fact that they did nothing for Disney Forward is a huge tell for me. I see it as a massive red flag.
That was a big miss for me. I was hoping to get something.
Yep.
At least more conceptual art. Like, hey, D23 fans, whatever. This is what we're thinking about right now. So it's not. I mean, at least give me something to, like, as Becky said, marinate on. I love that. I love conceptual art. I love. I love it when we have Lewis on talking about, oh, this is going to fit here. This is going to fit here. And I'm like, oh yeah, I never thought about that. We need to have him on.
Yeah, we need to have him back. But
anyways, I was hoping for something from Disneyland Forward. Yeah.
Well, again, and this is where I think Disney played the game of perception over reality, because they do that a lot. And unless you're actually actively looking for that, it's very easy for you not to see it.
Yeah.
Once we get into it, I'll point out the things that they did during the parks panel to distract you.
Oh, yes.
And we'll start pointing this out when we'll start talking about it. I don't want to get into it now because if not, we're just going to roll right into the thing, and then I'm going to stop there for now.
Okay.
But I think, again, everybody who's going to listen to this is going to sit there and go like, look, if you didn't see it, here it is.
Yeah.
Let me kind of pull that off a little bit and kind of go like, here's the reality of it. So I just posted on my Instagram that we're recording, and I said we're going to talk about the reality of what we got and what we're going to get. Okay. Because I think there's a lot of people who are talking about that, even though they said shovels ready, blah 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 blah, and I said, it's bullshit. It is. Man. It is, and you get and it's okay to call that out, and it doesn't mean we're a Disney hater, but we can also go there and go like, that's some crap right there, buddy, and we know it. And that's fine.
This isn't our first rodeo with this.
No, we've been down this road before. We've been doing this for a while. I've been tracking this stuff for years now. Yeah. Since Bobby came back, and I'm like, oh, you guys, no. Yeah. No. But anyway, but that we'll end it. I've been trying to do this, and I think I'm trying to do a fairly good job of always ending these in hope. Yeah. And there is positive at the end of this. We're going to go into a lot of negative stuff in my for part of me. I don't know how you guys are going to be, but for me, we're going to go into some negative stuff. But I'm going to tell you, there is hope at the end of this.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, with that, let's go on over to the news.
You listen to me now. You are talking about things that you do not understand.
Okay. First news item to get things off on a positive note. Disneyland is set to remove negative stereotypes from Peter Pan's flight. The Neverland tribe scene changes are expected to be similar to those made at Florida's Magic Kingdom. Walt Disney Imagineering will remove insensitive racial stereotypes and caricatures of indigenous people from Peter Pan's flight at Disneyland and install a new scene depicting Tiger Lily and the Neverland tribe with dignity and cultural authenticity. The changes to Peter Pan's flight in Fantasyland at Disneyland follow recent updates to its sister ride at Florida's Magic Kingdom. Walt Disney Imagineering has a long-standing history of making updates and enhancements to keep attractions fresh, authentic, reliable, relatable and relevant, according to Disneyland officials. A disclaimer on Disney Plus that accompanies Peter Pan notes that negative and harmful depictions of the 1953 animated movie. These stereotypes were wrong then, and they are wrong now, according to Disney Plus disclaimer. The new Neverland tribe scene in Peter Pan's flight at the Magic Kingdom theme park near Orlando depicts a harvest celebration with audio animatronics figures of Tiger Lily and her great-grandmother on a spinning turntable. The change in Orlando attempts to empower Tiger Lily while depicting the other members of the tribe with dignity that was absent in the previous version of the scene. That's according to Theme Park Insider. Peter Pan's Flight was an opening day attraction in 1955 at our Anaheim Park. Everyone, take a big hit off the peace pipe here.
Question.
Answer.
What was the negative stereotype depicted in that previous scene?
Nothing. There's nothing. But
because what I do recall was it's Tiger Lily, and then was her grandmother? I don't think the grandmother was there. I'm trying to remember what it was, and then it had the chief and his two guys sitting around a fire.
Yeah.
How is that negative?
Well, Tiger Lily wasn't empowered in that scene. Apparently, she needs to be empowered now, which is news to me.
Okay, so while I'm not, you look at the picture and you kind of go like, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think that it looks nice.
It looks nice, and I'm not gonna and I'm not gonna argue that it's some huge like, oh my god. But I'm gonna argue the constant point that I constantly am arguing with these people. You keep on judging history with today's lens. Stop it. Freaking stop it. I'm tired of this stuff because it doesn't matter. Stop policing what's out there. Stop policing what's being told. It's up to Disney to do whatever. But again, going back to when we had a conversation, we talked about it a few episodes ago. This is not Disney's responsibility. It wasn't negative. And the people who want to find negative in anything are going to find negative.
Well, that's what they do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So stop kowtowing. And then again, if somebody goes into that attraction and finds it like, hey, that's a negative thing, then have that conversation with the people you're with. See, I'm tired of these people trying to police everything. They're policing freaking everything, and it is old. It is old. So while the scene doesn't look like, and let's be realistic, in that society, in that time, women weren't empowered. Okay? They weren't. It's a sad reality of the fact of how that system worked back then.
Well,
no, but the tribe as they're being depicted, okay?
But how is this showing empowerment?
Because they're doing a native dance, I guess. I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. So when you hear empowerment, to me, the second I hear that, I hear buzzword. Okay, that's all I hear. And like, you don't mean any of this.
Right. So Becky's gonna say something?
Sorry, Becky, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that I feel very uneducated in this. I haven't watched Peter Pan in so long to actually, understand the negativity that's depicted. I really can't remember the specifics or, the alleged negativity. When I first saw the update, so I think the update looks nice. I think it's, everything about it looks nice, like an upgrade in a sense to me. Where I feel uneducated, and I really don't want people listening to this to come after me, although I'm really happy if you want to, educate me on it.
Let them bring the pitchforks. They're fine.
Sure.
Well, I couldn't really understand the differences. I mean, I can understand that this one looks more updated, but I couldn't really understand what was negative about the other one compared to this one.
My point.
The only thing I could think of is, maybe the skin color was a bit more reddish, but this one I can't tell. It kind of looks the same to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I really felt honestly kind of confused by this because I didn't see what was depicted negatively versus what's not here. And I don't remember Tiger Lily specifically having a grandmother or great grandmother in the story. So the only other thought I have is are these people even in the Peter Pan story. Like, I know Tiger Lily is, but was her great grandmother? I don't remember. And like the people who are actually there, it looks like playing the drum. I don't specifically remember them in the story.
They're not that I recall.
So that's the only thing that I felt is kind of weird that way. And yeah.
No,
I forget. I think I was starting to say something else on it, but those were kind of my thoughts. A little bit of confusion because I couldn't see the negatives, the positives.
And again, the scene. So they remove a chief, okay, and that was factual. These tribes had chiefs, and I'm not trying to say that women weren't integral in tribe life. From what I understand, what I know, that's not what I'm trying to say. The reality is that in that time being depicted, women weren't looked at as high. There are still places in this world that still have that point of view, as antiquated as it is. But looking at it, you look at the scene, who saw that? Who, again, what was the negative? I want to know, and I'm kind of like on with you. Tell me why it was negative.
Right.
Tell me why it was negative, and educate me on why you think it was negative. Because I see it and go like, okay, chieftain, they're there and they're sitting around a fire. Okay, where is it? So this, from what I've seen, because I have read a few things about Indian culture, not a ton, and I've also seen a lot, and I've been to smaller little powwows, and I've seen dances with my own eyes, and I've seen native dances, and it is a very cool aspect of that culture. So for me, I don't have a problem with this scene because it's actually like cool, and I've actually seen these dances and stuff like that for real, and listen and feeling the drum beat and everything. It's amazing. That part of that culture is amazing. So I just don't like it when Disney tries to go like, well, it's negative here and we're gonna empower it. Like, stop. Just say we're updating it now. Yeah. That's all you gotta do. So my bigger problem is I think you're full of crap. I think you're virtue signaling. Just if you're gonna change it, just like, hey, we're updating, we're adding a new scene. If you put that out there, a lot of people are like, oh, cool. Right. But what you do is you're trying to trash on what was there before. That's my problem. It's like, why you negative? What was negative about it? You're tainting what was there, and who helped put that in there? Who was around in the parks when that came in?
Right.
So this is it. So when they do these things, I'm like, dude, this is what you're doing. You're putting a negative tint on Walt's legacy and everything they built up. These are the little things that tick me off to no end. If you just said, hey, we're updating the scene, we're putting something in, everyone would be like, no. But they're making it a point to bring out stereotypes that it was wrong back then and it's wrong today. Dude, give me a freaking break, okay? Stop.
Okay.
Stop. So that's what I'm saying. I hate how Disney presents this and how they're talking about it. Again, if they would have been like, hey, we updated it, we put in a new scene, tons of people would probably been rolling through there going like, oh, I wonder what they did with the scene. And some people would be like, oh man, I like the chief, blah, blah, blah. But it just adds a level of controversy that doesn't need to be there. Those are the words, and that's what they're saying. So I don't even think they understand when they do that, how negative and how you are creating a controversy that probably wouldn't be there. Disney
they don't need to stoke the flame.
Exactly. Yeah. So Disney has been doing this for a while now. Like, you guys are interjecting this crap into the park. You're the one bringing this in. The park goer and the park lover, we're going to be critical, but we're not going to be like, negative this, negative. No, you guys are bringing it in. And this is another example of that.
Like starting it with a divide.
Yes.
Already. Okay, well, if you liked the other one, then
you're a bad person.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, give me a break, Disney. Stop. Just say we're updating it. We're updating the scene. We're rechanging some scenes and we're retooling it. And we're you do that, and then it becomes an argument about which one we like more. Yeah. Not about like, well, I like that one, and because I like that one more, now someone can look like, well, then you're fine with negative stereotypes. No, dude, I'm you know what I'm saying.
And here we are again, letting Disney dictate. I mean, we're at
the conversation.
But we're at a theme park. Let's just go and have a good time, and none of this nonsense.
They keep on bringing the stuff in. They're like, shut up, man.
And again, how much does this cost? I mean, this is again why we can't get things done on time and money, because we have to go pacify someone who may be a little offended. Just don't go to the park, or better yet, just don't go on that ride.
Don't go on that ride.
Or that, yeah.
And I do feel there are a lot of people in our position that really don't even know what the negative stereotype was, or
No.
We're like confused about it, when in fact we're just going on the attraction and kind of appreciating it as like, wow, this was an opening day, how innovative and how amazing, like something like this had never been done before. I don't know.
It's like go find a piece of straw in a pile in a stack of straw. You're gonna find, you know what I'm saying? It's like they're gonna, oh man, we're gonna, there's negativity everywhere. Okay, so that means you're gonna find it everywhere.
Sure.
Again, these are the people who create jobs for themselves that drive me crazy, man. And Disney has kowtowed them for way too long, and they just need to stop.
Yep.
They need to stop. They need to know. They need to remember how it is to just talk to normal freaking people like us. They need to remember that. They have forgotten that. At the highest order. That's why I keep on saying the C-suite needs to be cleaned out. Because no one seems to be getting it. Anyway.
Okay, enough about Peter.
So if anybody would like to come on our show and talk to us, we'd be happy. From Disney. I mean.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But if you want to talk to somebody normal, you can come talk to us. We'll give you our opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe educate us, or at least let us know
Give me a point of view.
Yeah, a point of view. Here we go with that. All right, next news item.
Looks like trash. Oh, sorry.
The path between the Bayou Country, a little foreshadowing there, and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge reopens with new look at Disneyland. Guests can once again fully loop Disneyland Park, as the path between Bayou Country and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge has reopened with a brand new look. Yeah, from basically July 8th until like last week, that path just past Haunted Mansion has been closed off. So now it's opened, and that's great.
I'm glad it's open.
But there's a little bit of a thematic transition issue
That
going.
is horribly done. That is horrible.
So
why?
Actually, before I zoom it in, it just looks like part of it's not done. Still, but I guess it is. That's just the look.
Well, it's going to tie into the next story about Bayou Country, which is replacing Critter Country 3 months early. And we don't know the theme of Bayou Country, but apparently it's the texture on the ground is going to be more, looks like it's more organic.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing. What I'm arguing and saying that I think it looks horrible is the transition.
Well, where could they have done that, though, Woody? I mean,
they could have moved it up, and instead of it leaving this weird kind of jaggedy kind of turn, they could have just brought it all to the edge of the rivers, and then to that pillar, and then just started it there.
Huh? Yeah.
But instead, they put it halfway. Just dip it all the way out and make it bigger. Make that bigger. If that is what you're going with this, you're walking on a dirt path, which I have no zero problem with. That transition is hard, and it's in the middle of the path, and it looks bad. Push that forward, bring it to, because everybody knows when you go down that side, and then you come past, and you're going up to now country, whatever it is, Country Bayou, whatever that.
Bayou Country.
Yeah, Bayou Country. You kind of go down, and you start heading down along the rivers of America. Right there where you start going down is where the train, because you could have gone and made it go all the way down, and then you have the bridge, that kind of bridge kind of area. And
that wooden bridge?
That wooden bridge, and then transit right there. That would have been infinitely cleaner, more clean.
Yeah.
This looks jaggedy, and it just looks very abrupt.
Mean. Yeah, like right up there.
Yeah, it looks very abrupt. So if they would have just extended this all the way out, you see the wood bridge, you could make, or your hard points here. So you look at that wood bridge, you could make that, for everybody, just think about this, guys. That wood bridge that goes over there, coming out of Critter Country, you guys, I know you guys can picture it in your head. It's cut right in the middle. Just make that entirety of that area, that dirt, and then you have a softer transition from point to point. So while I actually like the way the dirt looks, and I like the stones in it, and it's very natural looking. I like that a lot, but I don't like how it's just in the middle of this stone pathway. Like, oh, and then it's here. It's like somebody dumped a bunch of dirt and just kind of went like, and it just kind of fell to here.
No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, for me though,
Yeah.
I kind of need to see it with those walls out, so I get like a better perspective.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
it may look better without that, but
Yeah.
like I'm saying, I'm just judging. And then even looking at this picture at the forefront right here, where these two people are on your left of the picture.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we post this because I hate when podcasts do this. They talk about
Yeah,
images that aren't on there. Drives me batty. So
I was gonna say we should post it so
Yeah.
people can.
Oh yeah,
see.
yeah. We will.
so you guys can actually look at what I'm referencing. The people on the left, even right there, that's where that all that dirt should have come up to that pillar and come down.
Yeah.
Then that would have encompassed that whole entire area, and then it would have been a softer transition instead of this really harsh, hard, boom, dirt transition.
Well, I'll see it in real time next month, and I'll give you like a live picture.
And it could look better in person, but just this angle and how it looks like
Yeah.
from this one picture.
Yep, I agree.
I'm critiquing it on that alone, and I'm not a fan of that transition.
Yes.
And Disney has done, up until this point, Disney has done the transitions between very, very well. When they introduced Galaxy's Edge, the transitions into Galaxy's Edge in the park are freaking amazing.
Right.
They're some of the best ever in the park, in my opinion. So then to come back with this, I'm like, ugh, what'd you do?
What'd you do?
Yeah.
All right. That kind of ties into our next story. Bayou Country replaces Critter Country 3 months early.
Good.
At D23, it was announced that Critter Country would be renamed Bayou Country. The change, actually, they didn't say that. It was actually on the poster. The change was set up to go into effect on November 15th of 2024 to coincide with the opening of TBA at Disneyland Park. However, on a recent ride on Mark Twain Riverboat, it was noted that the audio when passing by the land has been changed. The current audio is as follows. While you're in Bayou Country, you might want to grab a paddle and try your hand at the Explorer canoes. Previously recorded audio stated, while you're in Critter Country, you might want to grab a paddle and try your hand at the Explorer canoes. Bayou Country remains closed while construction takes place on TBA. The area will feature many changes when it opens to the public. The Briar Patch and part of Pooh Corner will become the Princess and the Frog inspired gift shop. And Hungry Bear Restaurant has been renamed Hungry Bear Barbecue Jamboree and will receive Country Bear Jamboree theming. Okay. So we do know that's happening. I don't dislike that.
No.
I mean,
It makes sense.
yeah, it does make sense.
It does.
Yeah. And again, listeners, as you know, Critter Country wasn't even the original name; it was Bear Country. And well, it used to be Frontierland when the park opened, but that got taken down, and it got. And speaking of Peter Pan, there was the Indian Village was over there, and that I thought that was great. I wish that kind of stuff was still around because although now I can see them causing trouble with that. But to me,
I hope not.
And I was never around. I was never alive for any of that stuff. But to me, it would be great to know about that culture and let them share their knowledge to people and show. And then they had, and they had interpretive dances and other crafts that you could participate in. And that stuff.
It's amazing when you see it in person.
it
I'll
would be
tell you what, it is amazing.
Yeah, I've never seen that, but I would be interested in that. And I think that's something that they should really embrace right now. And
well, it would go back to Walt's original thing about educating through entertainment.
Yeah.
And that would be amazing. I would love that if they did that and they started doing things like that on Tom Sawyer's Island.
Oh,
do it on that stage and doing Indian folk dances and things like that. Dude, amazing. I would be like, let's go. We're gonna go check that out because it is amazing.
Well, and especially, too, if they have people who are actually part of that culture who could be with them in the development process, I think would be wonderful. And I know, like, taking my kids to see and learn about all of these things, I would love that.
Oh,
I'd love to educate myself and then, to be able to educate them.
No, and it's one of the things is, like, you find the local, the tribe that is, indigenous to that area, and you bring them in. I mean, I will tell you this. I mean, there are some things that California does that are actually really cool. Okay, the state, and I'm talking about the government of California.
What?
Yeah. When we were working when I was working up in Clear Lake, we were near tribal lands. Okay, and we were on some old tribal lands. And the thing that Disney does, but the California does, is that they actually have representatives of the tribe, that local tribe, on site when they're doing the underground work and they're digging, just in case they run across some artifact or maybe a tribal ground that, or a burial ground that they didn't know was there or whatever.
Yeah.
And projects can be halted if you do it. And I'm like, fine, yeah, you need to handle those areas with respect and dignity because they deserve it. They're human beings and they're a culture that deserve that. And so they will do that. And so the whole time that we're working, they're doing all the underground work. We had tribal reps there, just sitting there supervising, just in case. And that's amazing. And I think that would be great for Disney to do something like that because, you know, if they're saying it's a negative, well then, okay, you're saying it's a negative stereotype, then bring in something positive. Show the culture and show how great that culture was. Because it was, like I said, like every culture is not perfect.
Right.
But that there are so many just great things in the history of understanding the tribal life and how they lived and what their ancestors did and how they celebrated and how what their religions and what their you know, what they believed in, how they handle all that, and the tribal dances and all the paint. There's a lot of people that understand like the negative stereotype, the big headdress, the facial paint, the war paint, all that stuff has meaning.
Yeah.
And so it would be very good if people could learn more about that. I think it would be like, again, they do that. I would love to go do that. Like make it a seasonal thing, make it a summer thing. Like, hey, this time we're going to have, you know, the Indian dance and cultural awareness thing over here at 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., whatever, however they would want to do it, and then do it on Tom Sawyer's Island, put it out on the deck, and it would be free. Can you imagine that? I would love that. Walking along the rivers, and then you hear
the drums,
the tribal drums going, and then it adds to the whole area.
It would add a lot.
Explains everything to it, and then you can go into these things and understand a lot more.
Sure.
So it'd be amazing.
Yeah. All right. Next news item. This is actually courtesy of Becky throwing some stuff into the mix here.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Before we go on, do you want me to go over the food now or later?
Hold on. This is the last news item. And then we're going to go into D23. Okay, cool. So we'll do that.
Hold on.
Okay. And this is just a rumor, so everyone take it for what it's worth. Disneyland could roll out a new lightning lane with Disney could roll out new lightning lane tier with automatic access to rides. Disneyland is rumored to be considering a new tier of lightning lane passes that would allow guests to access all attractions without booking return times. This rumor started with an accidental release on the Disneyland app itself rather than echoes across Twitter, and it points towards an offering that has been discussed as a great addition for Disneyland. There's a logo that actually was on the app where it just says Lightning Lane Premier Pass. It looks sort of Tomorrowland-esque. You guys can look it up online.
Yeah.
The above logo and look for the ability to pre-book Lightning Lane Premier Pass were available on the Disneyland app before being removed. The functionality to pre-book wasn't working when it was posted, but it was visible on the app. A savvy Reddit user spotted that graphic and functionality that was posted. This rumor was first reported by Blog Mickey and their article that looked at the other Disney resorts around the world that utilized Premier Pass nomenclature. They pointed to Disneyland Paris as also using the name writing Premier Access. Guests can either purchase a single entry at eligible attractions without the need to pick a return time, or they can purchase Premier Access 1, which is a single entry at a single attraction at a specific time, similar to Lightning Lane Single Pass. It's just overly confusing. What the hell is it?
As always, yep.
Yeah.
The current setup of Lightning Lane at Disneyland is that guests can purchase Lightning Lane Multipass, which then allows the guests to make return times on their phone for attractions throughout the day, and they can purchase Lightning Lane Single Pass, which gives access to specific individual attractions at the time the guest purchased that return time for. Okay. Yeah. How would this impact the Disneyland guest experience? Ever since Disney Genie Plus Lightning Lanes were first rolled out, we thought about some kind of offering that could give you access for the Lightning Lanes without the need to reserve those spots in advance. This is almost identical to Universal Express Pass offering, which is the option to allow guests to ride each ride once. Okay, so basically, I'm going to summarize this. There's supposed to be a new Premier Pass, which allows you just to ride any ride one time without booking a return time. And like a return time, it's what time is it now? 12:03. If they go, yeah, this is good for Indy at 2:25.
Yeah.
But now I think you can just use one each without doing a return time, and this is going to be some extra cost, whatever this is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which, just to give an idea, if they're comparing it to Universal, let me pull up the prices.
Okay. I mean,
if you find it relevant.
No, I find it relevant.
I do.
Okay.
But while you're doing that, I'm going to make the comment. It's not going to alleviate anything. For anybody who's been in the park and looking at the lightning lane times, it doesn't help.
No.
It doesn't help. It's 100% a money grab. And for any park, for any company doing it, this is a money grab. Because the reality on the ground is that if you have enough people buying the lightning lane or express pass or whatever it is, you're going to clog up the works and you're going to wind up waiting anyway.
Right.
They sell it as you're going to get right on there, blah, 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 but it isn't. It's BS. We all know it is. So it's a money grab, and I 100% hated this system from the word go. But we kind of all realize that it's going to stay because it makes too much money for them.
Right.
The only way this doesn't stay is if the money doesn't come in. And I think Disney has trained many people to just, we just throw more money at it, and we can make our stay a little bit better. It works at some level, but yeah, this is just another overall money grab.
This will work in the Florida parks, but I don't think it's going to work here.
No.
Yeah.
Our park is smaller. Our park is smaller. And this is when I go back to it. Stop treating Disneyland proper like every other park. It is different.
It is.
It is different. It will forever be different. I think the number I heard was 72% of the people who have APs there are locals.
In Florida?
No,
here.
In California.
Oh.
72%. Okay.
That's pretty high.
It's very high.
Yeah.
And I know Disney doesn't like it, but too bad, Disney. It's not changing. It's been how long?
Yeah.
Stop it. Just embrace that. Instead of you trying to homogenize everything, embrace its uniqueness. Embrace it. See, if I was in charge of promotions, man, I would completely go a different way. I would be like, no. We're going to highlight all the differences. We're going to make sure why you guys, everybody understand why this park is different. And you build around that, and then and then people are like, oh, is Disneyland really that different? It is.
It is.
Come check it out.
Okay, Becky, what do you have some numbers for us?
Diversity is our strength.
So a day pass starts out at $109, and right now they actually offer buy a day pass, get a second day free, but it does vary based on the day. You know how Disneyland tickets do.
Yeah.
So then the Universal pass starts out at $209, so $100 more, and that's where you can go on every attraction one time.
But that includes that includes admission to the park, though, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that includes your admission to the park, so it's $100 more.
Okay.
Then they offer the VIP experience, which starts out at $379. That does include your admission. I believe you get some food items with that as well.
Yep.
I actually have done that before.
I did years
I
ago.
didn't pay for it. Yeah, I did it years ago too. And it was a great experience. I think you can also get special tours at certain places now as well.
Yep.
So that's just pricing. There are a couple other things that I think Universal does well with those passes, more specifically in Florida. If you stay at certain tier hotels, you actually get the Universal pass with your ticket admission when you book the whole package together. And just with staying at their certain hotels. I think that's kind of cool because if you're paying the extra money to be at a nicer hotel, you get that as an incentive. And then they also offer it with their annual passes as well at a certain time. I don't know the specifics, but like say 6 p.m., then you get their Universal pass the rest of your night at the park.
Well, it sounds like they got it figured out.
Well, you want to know why? You want to know why? Because they're following what Disney's model was a few years ago.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
Sure.
You had more perks. If you spent more money, you were in certain tiers.
Yes.
They rewarded that. They didn't knock you for it. They rewarded it. So what they're doing, they're going back and going like, well, what was? If I'm Universal, I'm like, well, let's look at the trajectory of Disney parks and their attendance and revenue and blah blah, because all that's public information, right? What was their height and their heyday, and what were their policies and programs when they were doing that, and then model off of that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the intelligent thing, because Disney is the blueprint for a lot of these places that are going to try to rival them. They have to blueprint it. So, yeah, they got it figured out, because it sounds eerily familiar to the park. What? How many? 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, if you were in the higher tiers, if you did that stuff, you got bonuses, you got things, you got perks for actually being. If
you did.
And so Disney has been removing the perks, and the game that Disney has played, Iger predominantly, is let's see how little we can give them and maximize how much we can get from them.
Well, I think, were you going to say something, Becky?
I was just going to say my experience going to Universal Studios, the next time I go, I will absolutely do this experience. The last time I went, I was pregnant until I wasn't right. There was nothing I could ride except like a couple shows there. Yep. It's not like Disneyland in that sense. So, of course, I didn't pay for it. But I would, just because the way that the system seemed, that time that we went, we actually took our nieces and nephew. We surprised them with a trip when they came to visit us, and the line just moved so fast when you're in the Universal Pass. You really had to wait in the standard line. It just seemed like they were getting people through so much more quickly that way. And like you mentioned, you get so many perks with it that why not? You're spending a lot of money anyways for certain things. I would even be inclined to look at, depending on the age of my kids and what they could do, look at the VIP experience, because if you're adding some food items into that and you're getting a trip, it's also somewhere that I don't visit as often as I would want to Disneyland. So if I'm going every, 5-10 years, then why not?
Yeah, sure.
No, I think the beauty of what Universal is doing is that they're saying, look, you pay more money at your entrance, and then they don't nickel and dime you pretty much after that.
Yeah.
So they factored in their overall cost into it and said, this is the blanket price. Because that, I remember, like I said, years and years and years ago when I did it, oh man, I think it was maybe 150, maybe
for the VIP.
For the VIP, yeah.
And
it was years ago. I mean, I'm talking
like
a decade ago, if not more.
You said, Becky, that's $380 or something?
Yeah, $379.
I think it was like $175.
I think I could pull up what you get
for a ticket.
Ticket includes 1-day park admission and unlimited per day express access to each ride, attraction, and seated show.
Yeah.
Express access is a separate line with a shorter wait time at each ride, attraction, and seated show. You get complimentary valet parking. Actually, that's huge there too. When we went, we did pay extra to have better parking there, and it was totally worth it because we could put some snacks and different things in our car and easy access to get them. And I don't know, this part doesn't say anything about the food, but I did read it recently that there is, I don't remember if it's I think you actually can get a meal, and then it's something with the drinks, like maybe 10-cent refills, something like that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. No, and I remember when I did that, it was literally, you could tell the VIP was VIP. It isn't like what Disney's done now with the Lightning Lane, where now it's a huge, cluster of people.
Yeah.
It was literally it was VIP access. And when we did, it was the Jurassic Park one. I remember specifically, you go VIP. And when we went in, we were like, boom, 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 just flying by people.
Yes.
Right.
And the second we got up to the front, they're like, boom, come on in.
Yeah, I think internally,
exactly.
I'm wrestling a little bit internally about the concept of being a VIP at Disneyland. I think the citizens of Disneyland, as it has been coined, when you buy your admission ticket, I think we should all be in the same playing field. There's something about that for me that it doesn't sit right.
And yes, I do want to say I'm saying all of this and talking very positively about it at Universal.
Yeah.
However, I don't like it at Disneyland.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, no,
Well, they've already done it though.
I know they're doing it. Doesn't mean I like it. I don't like the fact that why do those guys get? Because it causes trouble. Because you're with people like, hey, how come we can't get that? Oh, that's an extra, $85 a person or whatever. And then well, you don't really have that on our budget, but then you somehow feel less than, which really isn't the case. And
not to mention, you also have situations where I think now, more specifically Disney World, it's like, okay, well, here you purchase this, but no, you can't do it at these attractions. You actually have to pay more if you want to do those ones. And that's where it just seems like such a game to me versus actually something that's going to add value. And I know I'm not a pass holder, but I find it offensive that pass holders don't get any of these perks either with as much money as they're spending at the park. I think, and that's something where Universal seems more like they want to know what their pass holders want and they want to cater to their pass holders. And I don't get that feeling from Disney right now.
True. In fact, my Magic Key Pass, I'm not even allowed to use the bathroom. So that's how bad mine is. I tried to go in there. They go, sorry, let me scan your phone. No, you cannot use the bathroom.
You would have got the higher tier, Mark.
Yeah, so
you wouldn't have to bring a water bottle with you.
Right. Well, I have to, as it is now, I either have to bring the water bottle or have to run out to downtown Disney and use one of those bathrooms. And I'm not even allowed to go into Fantasyland, Tomorrowland, and Mickey's Toontown. My pass does not allow me to go in there. So, so they really need to fix that. No, but I just, to me, I don't like the division. It just got me thinking about when you buy an annual pass, I wish you could do an a la carte menu like they did before, pre-COVID. When we had our Flex Pass, and I didn't take advantage of this, but I think when we bought ours, you could have added a Max Pass for like $80 for the year or something like
60
or $60.
I remember that.
I would absolutely do that now. Like, I'd pay $60 for the year for Max Pass or Lightning Lane, or actually Genie Plus, which I think needs to go. But the overall theme, though, they're creating a division, and gosh, they're making it really confusing for people who don't follow this for a living. We don't do this for a living, but we're really into it as a hobby. And it's like we sort of understand how it works, but I just want to go to the park and do whatever I want to do. I don't want to schedule my day. And it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, again, Disney has done a horrible job at keeping the park experience simple and enjoyable.
Yeah.
It has become everything for the money grab.
Sure.
Everything for the money grab. And a lot of us would be okay with that if we were getting the value that we felt for our dollar.
Sure.
And so the value of it is where we have gotten to that point now where the value isn't matching the dollars put out.
Sure.
We can make that argument, and for some people they see it, but when you really look at it, no, it's not there anymore.
Okay.
And what they're trying to do is what they try to do with entertainment, and this is why it's not ending, is they're trying to force people, like, this is the way that Disney's going to be now, and Disney Entertainment's going to be like this. And so if we just get through the rough patch, people will just accept it.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Right.
And it's not going to work in the park.
No.
It's not going to work in the park. So, again, we'll go back to D23. There is hope, signs of hope. But anyway, so this is just another aspect of them trying to force something down our throats, whether we like it or not.
Yes.
And just learn to deal with it, and you will take it. And more the Disney family and the Disney faithful are like, stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it. And this is going to be just another thing. So, yeah, I'm with you with that level of like, hey, creating the have and have-nots is a direct violation of what Walt's vision of the park was.
Sure. Yep.
It's a direct violation of it. And this is why, in my opinion, why the company's falling apart, because they've lost sight of that. The inclusion, the diversity, and all that stuff that they love to bark about was there because the inception was the park was for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, that's a whole other topic.
It is.
Like
it really is. But yeah.
Wanting to talk about inclusiveness and diversity and all of these things, but yet they are doing stuff to create.
Divide. And they're creating, and it's becoming a class-based system, which most of this stuff is all class-based, not racial, not this. It's class.
Right.
And they and these right here, if you guys are wondering, this is the prime example of what it is. This is a class-based system. If you have enough money, you can play. If you don't have enough money, well, we'll give you an experience, but it just won't be as good. And that is, again, a direct violation of what Walt wanted.
Well, right. And the people that are going to counteract you, they're going to say, well, when Disneyland opened, you had to pay to go on all the rides as a separate admission. And to that, I'm going to say, yes, you are correct. You had to buy
Carnival, though, and that's what happens in carnivals.
But to get into the park, it was $1 or $1.50.
Correct.
Now you're asking a guest to pay $104 at the lowest, over $200 at the highest, and
then pay.
And then pay. So you're asking a whole lot out of your guests right now.
Yep.
Anyways, enough about this. Let's talk about something positive. A new menu got released for Hungry Bear Restaurant, and there's a new name. And we will have Jay on to talk about this because I know he's going to go and taste it and everything like that. But for the time being, Udi is going to go over some of the highlights of what has been announced.
Yeah. So for the now rethemed Hungry Bear, which is going to be whatever that's called now, Hungry Bear Barbecue Jamboree. So let me go over some of the entrees real quick, okay? I'm going to kind of fly through them. And this here is according to Disney Parks blog. The entrees are going to be a smoked barbecue combo platter. So a selection of our house smoked meats served with baked beans, house slaw white bread, and pickles with a choice of two of the following: pork spare ribs, pulled pork, sausage link, or beef brisket. Honestly, that sounds really good. That sounds amazingly good. Wow.
I know my husband will want to go there for sure.
Yeah. Okay, and then here is another one. Barbecue pulled pork sandwich. Tangy barbecue sauce, whole house slaw, bread and butter, and pickles served with beer-battered fries. Another good thing that looks deliciously good.
You have a picture of that somewhere?
They are. They're on the Disney Parks blog.
Okay.
Okay. Smoked beef brisket sandwich with tangy barbecue sauce, pickled red onions, and pickled jalapenos. Served with beer-battered fries. That actually looks really good, too.
Okay.
Smoked Angus beef burger and pulled pork with American cheese, golden aioli, pickled red onions, bread and butter pickles, crispy onions served with beer-battered fries. All look amazing. I'm hoping that they can deliver on all of these because they all look really good. The combo platter looks amazingly good. Okay. Then we're going to move on. Oh, we have some more. Okay, so corn ribs plate. Chili lime aioli, parmesan crispy onions, cilantro and scallions with house slaw and beer butter fries. Corn ribs. Oh, okay. So that corn ribs looks like it's kind of like elote. For anybody who doesn't know, elote is kind of a Mexican thing where they'll have the corn and they'll have it seasoned. For anybody who has never had elote,
Do they use that tahini on there, or is that something else?
It depends on, but it's typically tahini for the Mexican version of elote.
I would love that. I would love to try that.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's what they've got there. It looks really good. It looks really interesting. I'm trying to. It's difficult to see on the.
I've gotten corn ribs at Trader Joe's before. They're in the frozen section for anyone who wants to try, and I've done them in the air fryer. Mm-hmm. They are really good. Personally, my family, we don't eat it as the main dish because we do eat meat. But I would definitely want to try those and split them with my family or something because I think that those would be really good.
Yeah.
They won't replace ribs for us necessarily, but I think that they'd be really good.
And they're going with their, you have to have something plant-based there.
Yeah, like a French fry.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay, next one is going to be loaded fries topped with smoked pulled pork, queso sauce, pickled red onions, pickled jalapenos, cilantro, and scallions. Yeah.
I want those.
Oh, yeah. That.
Those sounds
the only
good.
thing is I'm looking at the picture. The portion looks pretty small.
Okay.
That's going to be a downside. A lot of this is going to matter on portion size and price.
Sure.
So, but looking at what they're presenting, it looks really good. Okay. So then the next one is going to be classic cheeseburger with fries. And then chicken tenders. That's all what they've had before with fries. Okay. So beer battered fries. I'm going sides now. Beer battered fries, baked beans, house slaw.
Okay, I'm down.
Yeah, the baked beans, actually, I'm picky with baked beans, but they look really good. It has to have that right amount of smoky with the bacon and all that kind of stuff for me.
Yeah, I think the baked bean has to have bacon in it, doesn't it?
It does.
What do you say on that, Becky?
I totally agree.
There you go. Excellent answer.
And then they have their kids' meal, which are pork spare ribs.
Yeah.
Toasted cheese sandwich, which is a hamburger and chicken tenders. Okay. They have some desserts, which they both sound really good. The banana pudding, bananas, whipped cream, crushed wafer cookies, dulce de leche, thank you, and toffee. Looks really good. Then they have funnel cake fries, which I think, honestly, whoever started doing the funnel cake fries in the beginning is incredibly intelligent. So funnel cake fries, and then it has a banana caramel dipping sauce, which sounds really good. And then they have a few new beverages. Sparkling strawberry pickle lemonade.
I'll try that.
Yep, I would be interested. Simply lemonade, Minute Maid, strawberry smoothie, flavors of lime, Sprite, pickle juice, and a pickle spear.
Yep.
I love the sounds of that. It sounds really similar to the one that I had from the refreshment corner whenever I went during Pixar Fest, and I thought that was delicious.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
They had a pickle drink there.
Yeah, it was a sparkling pickle lemonade.
Oh.
It didn't have the strawberry, but I love pickles and the vinegar and all that. I thought that it was really good.
Okay.
And I do remember Jay saying he tried it, and I believe he liked it as well.
Okay.
So I feel like I have some validation with liking it.
I'm very curious now. Okay, go ahead. What's the next item?
Strawberry shortcake lemonade, simply lemonade, Minute Maid strawberry smoothie, sweet cream topping, shortbread crumbles, and strawberry dust. That looks really sweet.
I don't think I'd want to order it.
Yeah.
But it does sound good. Like, I guess I would do it as a dessert.
Like, I'd want to try
in
it.
the park.
Yeah, like I'd want to just have a taste test of it. Okay, next one is lemonade iced tea, which you guys all should be able to figure that out.
Yes.
Yeah,
and Arnie,
that sounded
and
really
Arnie
good
Palmy,
to me too.
And Arnold Palmer by any other name.
Yeah.
Okay, and they do have a novelty one, which is a Hungry Bear mason jar, which you can buy and then basically put whatever beverage you want in there. And I would get one. It's probably going to be plastic by the looks of it.
Yeah.
But I would do that. I think it'd be cool.
I am a fan of the mason jar drinks. Now, those of you who remember the Big Thunder Ranch barbecue used to serve their drinks in a mason jar. I have a few mason jars up here that I put drinks in. There is a coffee shop that Wendy and I go to sometimes. Ashley's, I think it's out in Orangevale or something like that. But they serve their drinks in the mason jars too, and I just get a kick out of that. Does Texas Roadhouse do that too? Becky, you were there last night.
Texas Roadhouse? So, no, they didn't.
Okay. For some reason,
I think you can get certain, like, alcoholic beverages in them, I believe, or maybe like certain lemonades and stuff.
Okay, no, there's definitely a diner that we go to, coffee shop that serves either water, whatever drink you want, and they don't serve coffee in the mason jar, but everything else, I just get a kick out of it. But I would absolutely buy that. All right, so I'm stoked about this menu. I do want to hear Jay's review or his thoughts on it, but for me, I'm thinking the smoked Angus burger or the brisket sandwich look incredible. Holy cow. They must still have onion rings, though. I mean, Hungry Bear was known for onion rings. I wonder, they must still have those.
It didn't show up under their sides, but I would think.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe they just talk about all the new things.
Those were pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's gonna wrap up the news, right?
Yep.
Okay, so 101 is dark tonight. Apparently, Jess is not here.
No.
So let's go on to the feature presentation.
And now for our feature presentation.
Okay, so for our feature presentation, we're going to go over the news items that were announced for D23, specifically for the parks on the West Coast. Just because mainly we don't cover Walt Disney World.
No.
Maybe on our LTP Lounge, which we'll be doing, not tonight, but probably next episode, we'll be doing that. We'll probably have Lewis on to talk about those changes for Walt Disney World and Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios and Epcot. They all got something added to them, so they'll talk about them there. But today, for this show, since we covered Disneyland and DCA, let's just talk about what was announced. To kind of go in order here. First item, and concept art was revealed for this. It's Avatar updates announced for DCA. Disney Experiences chairman Josh D'Amaro kicked off the night with updates on the new Pandora-themed destination coming to Disney's California Adventure Park. The area will draw inspiration from Avatar, The Way of Water, and upcoming Avatar films like Avatar, Fire and Ash, and feature a new dynamic attraction where you can discover the beauty and dangers of Pandora. This new and thrilling excursion will bring all the action, excitement, and wonder of Avatar, taking guests all the way to the wide open seas of Pandora. This is going to be a dynamic, intense, and emotional experience on a grand scale that we know your guests will love. Oh, emotional. Okay. So I think they had 3 or 4 pieces of art they released.
Mm-hmm.
They could be overselling it. I don't an emotional experience, but
100%.
Although I might say Rise of the Resistance was an emotional experience that first time. I'm not going to lie.
Because it was good.
Okay. Well, the first thing, they have this ginormous area carved out. And, I mean, it looks great. And this is, I think, what Udi talked about for the opening question is how much of this are we really going to get? I'm hearing talks of people in the know that this is indeed going to go over to the Hollywood studio section.
Yeah, stupid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that this is really what is going to go over there after they do the Eastern Gateway and shut down the bus drop-off section and close the Esplanade over there. So I don't see it over there. I'm having a hard time because we have the monorail over there too. How's that going to work? You know, people with smarter minds than I have figured this out.
No, they haven't. Well, continue, please.
I'm sort of looking at the concept art, and those buildings at the bottom right, is that like where Phil Magic is? And I don't know. I'm really having a hard time seeing it there. I don't think it fits, but people in the know seem to think this is where it's going. Inside this.
Well, and all the water around it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That part also is actually, yeah, that's not the area I thought it was. I was thinking with all the water, I thought more like the Grizzly area.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you thought it was going to go there?
When I started seeing the water, I'm not saying I wanted it to go there.
Oh, geez.
Which I absolutely don't want it to go there. But that's what I initially started thinking, I guess, with the water. I don't know. I just don't. It also just seems so tall that I don't picture it being in the Hollywood area where you're like seeing it from the road. But I don't know. I'm not really that great with direction.
Well, I don't know. Okay, so let's
it
talk.
Also seems bigger than that area, but they didn't say how big it's going to be
on purpose,
right?
Yeah.
And they're not using the word land either. They're using a destination and experience. Mm-hmm. So
this is what I was talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The pro is, yes, I would love a water-based attraction.
Along with Coco, that makes 2. That would add 3 into that park. Does that make sense? Anyway, moving forward.
You know what?
I'm just going to be throwing these nuggets out there because this is what I'm talking about. Well, no, but what I'm talking about is this is the reality versus what they're saying versus the reality of the situation.
Yeah. So that would give you 3 water-based attractions in DCA, which they may not even keep calling that anymore. But unless they want to call it, Disney's Cinematic Adventure or something like that. instead of California, but whatever.
Which would be utter.
Yeah. It almost is becoming like another studio.
That would actually make more sense.
What's that?
If they did that. Pixar Pier, they do Cars Land, and they do, if they actually do put this there, and then Coco, it's all cinematic things.
Yeah, why not? Just keep the acronym there. But, yeah, and again, for folks, if you want an idea of what this might look like as far as the experience, go check out, or if you've lucky to been on Pirates of Shanghai, Jess has, and she said it was stunning. But most of us haven't been there, so go check out the POV videos of it, and you'll see what they're capable of doing, and it's really breathtaking with this. So if we get anything like that, I'm for it. I just do not understand the theme of it being down Buena Vista Street, and then all of a sudden we're in another land. It's not work. I mean, if they had said, "Oh, you guys are going to get Monsters Inc. over here instead of Disney's Hollywood Studios," I mean, yeah, that works there.
Yeah.
I want to see.
And I personally would have absolutely loved that.
Oh.
Well, I guess other than it's Pixar, and then it wouldn't be at the pier. But I love everything that they announced for that at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
I think that sounds like phenomenal.
Yep. I want to suspend a roller coaster.
Yeah, it just sounds more, I don't know, you're adding a little bit of adult, you're adding something, you're taking a classic, something that's become a classic attraction, you're making it a little more adult. It also fits in perfectly with the theming from the movie. I think everybody who's seen the movie kind of pictured that, like, oh, that would be so cool to ride on the doors. And
yeah.
But anyways, we're not talking about Walt Disney World.
No, we're talking about this, and I have a bad feeling, a very, very bad feeling that in 2026, which is going to be the next D23, we're still going to have the same questions. Because between now and then, they had better be close to being done with this Eastern Gateway thing. I mean, that's got to be that's the first domino to fall. And if that's what they're going to do and open up the Esplanade, the other side of that is Tomorrowland. They could push that out in the Esplanade too. But I think if this is going to be there, I don't know. I mean, great, we're going to get something, but expectations are low for me.
Well, again, this is going back to the reality and what they're saying. So, yeah, if it does, in fact, go in that corner, then you can throw the concept right here and just throw it out the window.
Yeah.
Okay? Not enough room, or if they are, it's going to take years of just infrastructure work. People, and I said it before, most people are ignorant to what it takes to build an infrastructure just to be built upon. Okay?
Well, ignorance is a harsh word.
No, they're ignorant, and I don't mean it ignorant in the fact that in a negative, in the literal definition of ignorance, it means you don't know.
Yeah, you just have no idea.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So they're ignorant to that.
Well, I am. Then you can put me in that camp because I
do.
Me too.
And I do. And again, it's not an insult. I'm using it in the literal definition. You don't know. So when they talk about this stuff, I look at it and go like, this is how much I know about just what that at a base level looks like.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to claim like I'm some authority on underground work and infrastructure because I'm not, but I've seen a lot more than most people have.
Sure.
So my point is that I don't think this is going to go there. I don't think they're going to create what we see. I think they're absolutely going to create something, but I think this is Disney putting it out there to be like, we need to keep the hype going. Fine, that's good, but I think you're full of crap, especially with Avatar, land, experience, whatever they're going to use. I think it's crap. I think the only way that this effectively works well is it going to Disney Forward. Anything else is going to be hodgepodge, mishmash, oversold, underdelivered area. Okay, because if they're if they're force feeding Avatar, which I made my argument for why we don't want this or need this, it doesn't matter. They're going to do what they're going to do. But if they really want to deliver on that, you can't shoehorn it into anywhere. It won't fit thematically, sheer size of it, and those are the two things. I mean, thematically, like you were saying, Mark, it's stupid. It doesn't fit. You're going from Avengers Campus right into Pandora.
Yeah.
What kind of a transition is that? To me, I get the feeling when I say that, when I see this and I hear that, I'm thinking it's like what they did with Galaxy's Edge at Hollywood Studios. It's going to park it over there in the corner, and the transitions and theming is horrible.
Right.
While they knock it out of the park in Disney proper, they crapped the bed when it came to Hollywood Studios and putting in Galaxy's Edge.
Well, what's funny is their Star Tours, though, and I showed you a picture of that in like the forest.
It's cool.
Oh, it's breathtaking. It's awesome.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm saying. So it's like a very schizophrenic thing with them right now, and I don't understand that. So to me, this is where I come into and I go like, no, you guys, you're going to put it in, but none of that works. None of that fits, and none of that is something that's, in my opinion, feasible in the sense that it's going to deliver to what you're trying to say it's going to deliver to.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, this is the reality of what we're probably going to get versus what they're trying to sell. Okay, they're selling you on this water ride and this emotional and I'm not saying it won't be that.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that if they want to deliver on this, and they really want to deliver on this, they can't do it where they're saying or where people are thinking it's going to go.
No, it needs to be built from the ground up.
Correct.
Over there, as opposed to rebuilding and retheming something that's there.
Correct. They need to go to bare bones. Okay. Yeah. It's the only way that you can do it properly and actually deliver. Again, I don't think currently the management has the backbone to make this happen.
Okay.
I think they have the creatives and the people willing to do it and to put the hard work in to accomplish this vision. I just don't think that the company has a backbone to do what it takes to deliver this at the moment. So it's going to come. We're going to see it. But it's anybody who's sitting there going, oh, man, this is going to be so amazing. Look at all this stuff. It's just like I hate to be the black pill guy and go like, you're not getting that.
Right.
Okay, you're not getting that. We're going to get something.
Yeah.
That's clear because this hasn't gone away, but it's not going to be this. So I hope, I still know, though, whatever we're going to get, it's still going to be probably pretty good, but I'm also dialing back in expectation because I've seen what they do. Yeah. Even with Galaxy's Edge, I was hyped for it, and you can go back and listen to the many episodes that we discussed that, and there were moments in time where I went really dark and negative towards it. And they under-delivered with that, but it was still really good. And I still got emotional, but that had more of my to do with my attachment to Star Wars IP than the land itself, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyway.
Gotcha.
So yeah, the reality is, no, this is not, we're not going to get that. And if it goes there, it's even less of what they're showing.
Yeah. Okay. Next news item. Sorry. Becky, did you have anything to add on to that?
Well, the only thing is, after experiencing Avatar and the world of Pandora, Animal Kingdom, I can't wrap my head around how anything that grand would fit into that area, into the Hollywood Studios area. And since I have experienced that, I know a lot of people have. Anything less than that, I don't even think they should do the project then. I think it needs to be something as grand as that.
Yeah.
I still am not a fan of Avatar, really, but that is beautiful. That adds value. That adds something to do. And whenever I had visited the park, I just felt inspired and kind of awestruck looking at the whole land and just like putting my hand on some of the rock work and some of that because it just was so beautiful. And at that point, I hadn't even seen Avatar and really never cared to. Tim had me watch it on the way home on the airplane.
Yeah.
And I still was awestruck with it. So anything less than that would, be disappointing.
Yeah, for sure. Good point. All right. Well, next item that was announced, the first ever Coco attraction, was announced. And the attraction will be filled with characters and music you know and love from the beloved movie as you join Miguel on a trip to the land of the dead. This marks the first ever Coco ride in a Disney park. Walt Disney Imagineering will draw inspiration for the attraction from beloved classics like Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean. we're bringing our skeletal cast of characters to life in a big way through the latest audio animatronics technology. Josh DeMuro told the crowd, "These figures will appear in ways you'll have to see to believe. Get ready to celebrate everything you know and love about the movie and music with work beginning on attraction in 2026. So this is another water-based attraction. We don't know where it's going to go yet. And this may be part of Disneyland Forward, or it may be something that they already have a spot for. But this is going to be starting in 2026 as far as construction goes. I would imagine this will be online in time for the Olympics in 2020. I mean, it's my guess. 2 years is more than enough time to get this thing up and running. No?
Not with how they've been doing it. Okay,
we shall see. I mean, a couple highlights is, great. We've got Coco. No other park has that. And this a water-based attraction, which it looks like it's going to be fun, and it's going to be done in the same style of Pirates and Haunted Mansion. And what's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
I like that.
When did you say the Olympics are?
2028.
In 4 years?
Yeah,
okay.
2028.
Yeah.
And they say the work would be beginning in 2026.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm going with no.
Josh said yes. No.
I also would think it would have to be over towards the Pixar Pier area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's someone was talking about there's a lot of room behind Pixar Pier that they can, and there's a couple staff or cast member buildings back there that they could put elsewhere.
Yeah. No, for me looking at it, this one has a lot more potentiality actually coming more closer to what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because it will fit back in that corner. It would fit. It would actually fit with a lot of the area with the theming back there. And it would actually have the footprint wouldn't be that big. Not as big as what they're trying to say Avatar would be, right?
Yeah.
So to me, the potentiality of this one is far higher. Far, far, far higher. Would fit thematically, even if they wanted, even if they went crazy and said, we're going to put it in Hollywood Studios, I would go ugh, but it actually fits a little bit better. But going back in that corner, plenty of room. They can move some of the stuff they have back there and build that one ground up. And to me, this one is a much higher probability of getting done. And I'm all for it because, like I said, Coco is one of my favorites. And for it to be that kind of ride, and as long as I'm hoping it looks like, as of right now, that it's going to be like a ride through, kind of like what sticking to the movie. And to me, that is the biggest part. No matter what we get, we need to make sure we get a good story. I think that's going to be some of the problem with the TBA. Is a disjointed story, and that's my only concern with any of this stuff. Is just make it. Either if you're not going to do a full recounting of the movie, then at least make it true to the movie and have a coherent, good story for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
They also already do a lot of nice stuff in the corner of kind of like the end of the Pixar Pier area, like that food court area.
Yeah.
They do a lot of nice music. I think it might be more specifically this season.
Yeah.
I think they do it all year, but when I've visited, I love that. And I know I've been when they've done different tributes where you go and you write different notes about family members that have passed away, and you could kind of hang it up and leave it around that area, and then you could just read all these stories that people had about their family members. And I've really liked that when I visited. Actually, my sister and I went at Halloween time together, and we spent a lot of time reading those and kind of like laughing at certain stories or remembering our grandma. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why Coco, to me, is a very good film. And understanding the Dia de los Muertos and what that means, it's about keeping, and the whole point of the movie is to remind everybody about family, and that even when they're gone, as long as you remember them and continue to talk about them and keep them in your mind, and then they never really disappear. They never really go away.
Right.
The physical presence may be gone, but they still live on in your memory and your heart and your emotions. And I've had plenty of discussions with people about that in real life, about people they've lost, and so the fact if they can do that kind of stuff and do that, it's amazing, and it's a deeper meaning that that can be told, and I would hope that people could actually kind of plug into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll move on from this, but I'm happy with it. I'm happy with both of these things. And you talk about, another water-based attraction. The other thing I'm thinking about, Udi, is both of these, the artwork that they show, they depict boats that are holding at least eight people. So these are also people eaters.
People eaters, yep.
And that's good. You want these things to be churning out a lot of people, and I'm all for that.
Well, again, going back to what I said before, it looks to me like Disney's going to make an honest, good, hard point, an argument to say DCA is an all-day park.
Yeah.
And if they're really doing that, then they need to bring attractions that not only will attract people, but also be able to do a people eater and keep people moving in and out of them.
If they said, Udi, you get to work, let's say you're working for construction there, and say, Udi, we're trying to divvy up the teams right now. You want to work on the Avatar stuff or Coco?
Coco.
Really?
Yeah. No doubt in my mind.
Interesting.
Because I would love riding and then being able to ride it when it was done, and then having that remembrance of building it. Because, well, just for me, part of the enjoyment of my line of work is standing back when you're done.
Yeah.
And looking what's been created.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And, I'm not a creative person, per se, in the classic sense of it, but I guess it's my sense of creativity.
Yeah.
In the literal sense of the word create. But yeah, no, I would do this because I think I'm more closely attached to this culture and this way of thinking in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Becky would choose Avatar, I assume.
Wait, no, I don't think I would choose Avatar.
Okay.
I would definitely choose this.
Okay. I would choose the barbecue restaurant.
Yep.
So I could sit there and
Exactly.
No, this needs a little more seasoning. No, I was joking.
Yep.
If Avatar, literally, I see myself going in and them telling me that I need to watch it 200 times to get, lay of the land. I couldn't do that.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so now let's shift gears and talk about the park just across the Esplanade. Walt Disney Audio animatronics figures coming to Disneyland. A tribute to Walt Disney is coming with the debut of the first ever Walt Disney Audio animatronics figure at an all-new show on Main Street, USA. Walt Disney: A Magical Life will premiere inside the Main Street Opera House, and after its opening season will transition to play in rotation with Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. That is really all the news we have on that. They showed a still of a Walt Disney Audio animatronic, and it's going to show his story. And this is going to be in rotation after next year, because next year is Disneyland's 70th anniversary. So this is going to be playing all year. I know that they've been doing like a renovation to that hall, the Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, some to the tune of $5 million. And then I thought, like, $5 million? What in the world's costing that much money? Now I realize they're putting in a turntable and putting probably some of that into R&D to get this thing up and running. I am very pro this.
Yeah.
I think there is a story that needs to be told about Disneyland, and I think there is a generation after ours that has no idea about who this person is, and they see a picture of him and they go, well, who's that guy? That's Walt Disney. So I imagine this to be a little, I don't know, emotional for me to watch it the first time.
Yeah, and what I felt when it got announced was happiness. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm stoked. And I didn't, and then the crazy part is, like, since the announcement, a lot of people have the opportunity to chime in now, obviously. And, and I've heard the negative side of this. I don't agree with the negative side with it, but I'm going to bring it up because I'm curious of what people are going to think. Because this one, to me, can be, like many things, can be potentially very divisive. Because it, a lot of people, apparently, from what I've read and what I've heard, is that most of the family of Walt were like, no, don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it had more to do with they didn't want their grandfather or you know, brought back to life in this weird way as they viewed. And there was a part of me that kind of got that. I kind of like, okay, I get that. How weird, I mean, because I put myself in my shoes, like, how weird would it be for me if, like, they decide, hey, we're going to make an audio animatronic of my dad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would find that really weird. Because I'd be like, well, it's a caricature of my father, not my father. So there's a part of me that kind of goes like, okay, I get that. I totally get that. But on the other side of it is like, I'm with you, Mark. There's a generation of people who don't know what Walt did because it's always been. They lived in a world that Disneyland just always been there.
Yeah,
they don't remember a life without it there, and we don't either. I don't either, mind you.
My parents do though.
Yeah. Okay. See, and so there is, but there's a lot of people who don't know. Like we, look into Walt Disney, read about Walt Disney, and things like that because we're interested. But there's plenty of people who have no clue, and I think there's a way of trying to introduce. Walt for a lot of people, introduce them to them or him to them.
Right.
That being said, for me, it is going to be a delicate, tightrope they need to walk to make sure that they're doing honor to Walt and not making him in some weird way.
Right.
So what I hope is that it is a true representation of Walt in the sense that if it's going to be him talking about his life and his history, then please just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm Walter Elias Disney. This is what I did. He can. How many times have we heard the story of him talking about his daughters and the park, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Things of that nature. Like talk about that kind of stuff, and then talk about how he came up with the idea for Disneyland. And what he had to do, and how he created it, and all these things, and basically make it a rich depiction of the lore and the story of the making of the Walt Disney Company and Disneyland.
Yep.
If they do that, then great. If they don't do that, then this is going to be, like I said, it's a tightrope. This would be one of the worst things they probably could have ever done.
Yeah.
I'm all for it as long as they do that. But if they mess that up in any way, then this is going to be a train wreck. So I could see why some people are like, don't do it, dude, don't do it. But I'm on the other side, like, no, you need to do it, but just, please, for everything that is holy, do it properly.
And I think they will.
I hope so. I think so, too. I think so, too.
Yeah.
I have full confidence. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
Absolutely, Becky, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I have full confidence in it. I personally love Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln.
I do too.
I find that amazing and just so interactive, and like so much life is brought to President Lincoln. I can only imagine how Walt is going to be. And I felt a lot like you, Mark. Wow, this is going to be an emotional experience. I also go back and think about the video that was playing in there during the 50th with Steve Martin.
Oh, yeah,
that was an emotional experience to me.
Yeah.
And I really have a lot of positivity behind this. I think that they're going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I do too. It's funny you bring up that Steve Martin one. I will watch that on YouTube sometimes just to watch it again.
I thought that was so well done.
Yeah, I loved it.
I love that. That was one of my favorite things about the 50th.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like years ago, I posed a question on this show: what celebrity would you want to go to the park with? And my answer was Steve Martin. I would get a kick out of it going with him. Not only because he worked there, but just because he seems like he'd be a great guy to hang out with. But no, that is pretty funny. You do bring that up. No, like you said, I have no doubt that they're gonna do a great job with this. I wish that Diane Disney Miller were still alive, because I'd love to hear her input on doing an audio animatronic of her dad, and if she would approve of it or not.
I could see how that would be emotional and kind of weird.
Yes.
I can definitely understand that.
Yes. And one thing I wanted to say, I was talking to my friend Justin at work about this, is that with all the, advancements with AI right now, I wish that they would use Walt's voice to go over the PA system at Disneyland, to like announce fireworks or the park's closing, or even like at rope drop, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, this is Walt Disney, whatever. Welcome to my park, and this park's your park, whatever. And or ladies and gentlemen, in 15 minutes, firework in the sky, be like, oh, there's Walt Disney's voice. I would go, oh my gosh, that I think that'd be awesome. And then they could do that. Okay, so that's cool. We shall check this out. So again, another reason to experience the park in 2025. They don't say when this is going to be here, but I guess it's going to be probably around Disney's birthday. Sorry, Disneyland's birthday. So sometime in July of 2025 is when this is going to be here.
It'd be a good time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Next news that was next item that was dropped. TBA, Tiana's Bayou Adventure opens this holiday season. You'll be going down the bayou on November 15th when TBA, inspired by Walt Disney's animation studios film The Princess and the Frog, opens at Disneyland Park. They also announced that Critter Country will be renamed Bayou Country when the attraction opens. Yep, we talked about this ad nauseum. So it's coming. Bayou Country's named now. It's going to be, Bayou Country. So that's whatever. That ball's going down the road. We can't stop it. Here we go, November 15th. Yeah. All right. Now, a couple last items here. New Mandalorian mission coming to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Attention, Star Wars fan Udi. A new mission is touching down at Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. The all-new story centered around the Mandalorian Grogu arrives 2026 in time with the film. Yeah, this should have been done 2 years ago. I don't know why they've delayed this, but great, we're getting a new story. We don't know much about it. I wonder if it's going to just be this way from now on, or is it going to be randomized? I would imagine it's going to be like this for a long time. Then eventually they're going to swap out the stories. What do you think about that, Udi?
Well, I'm glad for two reasons. One, we've been saying that Disneyland needs to be doing this for a while now. They need to create something else, though. You're constantly running the same mission, As fun as I have on it,
Yeah.
I also realize that some people are like, I've done it already. So the random, if they're going to do this and make it a random thing, that'd be, great. So that's one thing that's the positive. It's injecting new life into this attraction. Cool. I'm hoping the story is good and makes sense and it's not kind of lame. Secondly, I also think it's a good thing because it is further evidence that the time locking of Galaxy's Edge is no more. And that, to me, is the biggest thing because it's opening slowly but surely, opening the door to bringing in the OT characters. I'm going to say it one more time, and I'm going to keep on saying it until it happens. Disney, if you want to have Galaxy's Edge overrun with people, you need to bring in Luke, Leia, Han, R2, and C-3PO.
And also Vader would be nice.
And Vader.
Yeah.
You bring them in, everybody. I mean, everybody.
What about like Uncle Owen?
No, he can roll through, but it's fine. But he's such a sub character. But you bring them in.
Okay.
You replace what you do with Kylo. You put Star Wars, or you put Darth Vader into that. Yeah. Boom.
Yeah.
Insanely cool.
Crazy.
Instead of it being the I forgot the character's name, the blue-haired character.
Yeah.
You replace it with a Leia.
Sure.
Like a Leia in what she was wearing in
Don't say Return of the Jedi.
No. Yeah, no, but yes, Return of the Jedi, but when she was more on Endor. that kind of thing.
Yeah, that character.
That would actually fit in that area.
She totally would fit in that character. Yeah, in that area.
In that kind of outfit. Replace her with that.
Okay.
Have Luke cruising around. Have Han cruising around. Then you could have Boba Fett cruising around. And again, we've said it before, you could just rotate them through, like from, rope drop till, I don't know, halfway through the day in the morning. You can do Rey and Kylo and blah, blah, blah. And then you shift it over, and then you finish out the day with OT characters. That would be amazing, so that you're always having a consistent feel. That would be it. So I'm down for it, and only because of that reason right there. Those two reasons. One, they need to do that for them, and it's further unlocking the time lock on Galaxy's Edge.
Okay, speaking of time lock, I'm going to give you exactly 1 minute to respond, and I'm going to stop you after 1 minute. Will we see any characters from Acolyte in
No.
Galaxy's Edge?
No.
That one took you 1 second.
Yeah, because absolutely not. Okay, let me go with this.
Okay, you've got 10.
Okay. Acolyte was not only a poorly written show.
I'm doing this on purpose.
I know. It's a poorly written show. It had no characters that really drew into anything or drew my or a lot of people's willingness to connect with them. The show produced a bunch of things that were nonsense and could somewhat fly in the lore, and was at the end of it a big heaping pile of crap.
Okay.
There you go. No, Acolyte also did not get renewed. It has been canceled. Goodbye. Adios. Good riddance. Don't let it hit you on the way out, because you're not worth it. So off you go. Bye, Acolyte. Not going to miss you a little bit. You sucked.
And end scene. Okay.
And I had 2 seconds. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, well.
I'll say it one more time. You sucked.
Yeah. I heard that she's going to try the main character is going to try to file a lawsuit against Disney and Lucasfilm.
For what?
For being promised to be in a bunch of Acolyte adjacent shows.
Oh, so like Gina Carano. Really?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Shut up, Amandla.
Okay, whatever. All right, let's go to... And the reason why I'm not even asking Becky, because I know Becky doesn't care about this. So let's get to the next thing. This is ridiculous. Okay, and the last new items that were announced for our parks. 2 new attractions coming to Adventures Campus. Adventures Corridor, if you will. Josh shared updates. Yeah, Josh, we're on first name basis now. Josh Yamaro shared updates and the name for the new attraction coming to Adventures Campus. We get Avengers Infinity Defense and announced an all-new attraction, Stark Flight Lab. Construction begins next year on the expansion, and the debut of these new attractions will double the size of the land. Very little was even announced at D23, the ultimate fan experience. I must say that. So we got some conceptual art of what this flight lab is. It looks pretty cool. It looks like a queue nightmare, though, of waiting in line for this. But it looks like it's going to be kind of fun. You've got a Kuka arm type of attraction that's going to just, looks like break your spine or something. I have no idea. That could be, I think that could be pretty fun. So I'm looking forward to that. Go ahead, Becky.
I don't know if I'm remembering this incorrectly, but I went to Epcot in 2014, and I feel like they had something that was like this. Not anything related to Tony Stark, but it was like something where you like created the movements and then you did it.
Oh, shoot, man.
So if anybody could answer me if that's correct, I want to know. And I haven't done any research on it myself, but I think I have. I don't know that I could specifically do it now because it looks like I would maybe get sick.
Yeah, that's the thing. It might.
But I think that it's something really cool. Yeah,
I think I'll have to see it in real time to see what this is all about. But I'm excited.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that they're thinking about this kind of stuff. That's more impressive to me than the actual outcome. But there's also this Avengers Infinity Defense. Very curious about the experience that we're going to get. We saw the ride vehicle at online. They did show that, and that looks pretty interesting. It looks like it's going to hold 4 to 6 people, and we don't know if it's going to be on a track, off a track, what it is going to do. But I'm excited that they're doing this. But again, this has been 2 years since they talked about this, and we're here 2 years later finally getting this. They do have the land for it, and they do have the room for it, and this could be another reason why they shut down that Doctor Strange show. Maybe it might.
Maybe.
I'm thinking. I know I can look at Google Maps, but I'm thinking in my mind it's probably adjacent to where the entrance to this thing's going to be. Okay, so that's really what that was announced, and that's really all we have. I'm excited for what we're getting. A little bit of skepticism, but
I got a lot of it.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little more optimistic than Udi. One thing I'll say though is I think honestly what was not announced was Tomorrowland stuff, and I think between now and next D23. Ultimate Fan Experience. There's gonna be some Tomorrowland news dropping. I think, but that has to happen. It has to come out, and Disney will just do it like randomly. Oh, like a Tuesday morning at like 9 o'clock, brand new Tomorrowland construction coming on. So I still think we're gonna get that. What it is, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's really it. I don't want to spend too much time on Walt Disney World. We will later talk about that, maybe on. LTP Lounge, because I know the show is running long, but the Rivers of America being taken out for their Cars Land. Be careful what you wish for. Disneyland, Disney company will remove things. I think our park is safe for ours, just for for many reasons. Tom Sawyer's Island was a Walt Disney thing. He wanted that, personally wanted it in there. As you mentioned before, Becky, our Fantasmic is integrated into the Rivers of America. I think ours is good. Ours is safe. And that would be something that would actually change me from even being interested in Disneyland if they took that out of to me. I'd be like, dude, I think I'm done. Yeah.
They can't do that. It would be a massive mistake.
Which goes to say, all you listeners out there, the next time you're at Disneyland, just go out to Thomas Sawyer's Island and check it out, and actually do what Shelley mentioned in our last episode, was get some lunch and go out there with a friend and hang out there and observe the park from that perspective. It's a whole different vibe out there.
Yep. So let me just add this in real quick.
About DCA or about Avengers.
About Avengers.
Yeah.
It is good. I'm glad with them releasing the ride vehicle for. The King Thanos, whatever that's going to be. The Tony Stark one, the Flight Lab, honestly, I'm not interested in. I don't see it. I don't see it as it being anything cool other than just like, probably like what I did with Spider-Man. And be like, okay, well, I wrote it, done.
I see it as being something more that would be appealing to like maybe 6, 8 years old, 8 to like 15, 12, 15. That's what
Agreed.
I kind of envisioned.
Agreed. And so just to kind of wrap up my thoughts on D23, when we go into these things and we look at what Disney's presenting, Disney did a really good job from learning from their last D23. And let me explain what I mean. Their last D23, they brought out their big blue sky thing, right?
Yeah. What if?
What if they did a full what if session for their parks panel for the most part, and they got pretty much kind of roasted for it. So I applaud Disney because they actually were paying attention and they realized, we can't do that again. And but here's the negative side to that. Josh and Mark Mouse said these are way beyond. He made it a point, and I said it before. I'm going to say it again. They made it a point to say these are beyond blue sky because that was them hearing the criticism. Now. The downside is that what did they do? They decided to make it a spectacle, okay?
Yeah.
They decided to waste everybody's time for about 3.5 hours and make it a spectacle in the show, okay? To me, that was an annoying and a distraction. And I know Disney well enough now to go realize, remove the fluff and give me the reality of it. Because the fluff made so many people excited. Honestly, if I'm in that arena when Bob Iger comes walking out and these people are like standing and giving an ovation, I'm booing to the top of my lungs.
Really?
Because I think he's trash. And I have no problem in saying and yelling boo. And people would look at me and be like, and if they want to look at me weird, so be it. So this is my whole point, is that we need to be realistic about Disney. If we want Disney to get better, buying into their fluff isn't helping. I listen to so many people oh, this is great, and that's fantastic, and da-da-da-da, and there's nothing wrong with having that mentality, but when you do nothing but that, you're not being realistic, and you're not being real with yourself. So we talk often about this. Like we always say, we're going to be realistic with Disney.
Yeah.
And we're not going to just, blow pixie dust up your butt because we want to get something out of them or we want to get... No. So this is when, in these moments, is when we have to be realistic. Be happy, be optimistic, and be realistic. So here are the good things, though. One is that I think they're finally starting to get it.
That's the Quinjet going by.
Yeah. They're finally beginning to realize that they can't continue to do this. The sign, one of the signs is even Josh tomorrow saying these are beyond blue sky. So that's them hearing. So you people who say, when I said, make your voices be heard. If you're not happy with something, let Disney know.
Yeah.
In a small way, whether it be you not buying a product, whether you filling out a survey, whatever it could be, let them know that you're not happy with this. The other part of it, it's a good sign, is Marvel. Marvel is beginning to turn around.
Yep.
You're starting to see what they're doing in the Marvel company, and there's a lot of good signs that they're beginning to really pay attention and go back to what brought them in the money, and which people liked, and I liked, and many people enjoyed. Another positive sign is Lucasfilm. After we get what we get with the Mando show, there's nothing approved right now.
Mm-hmm.
And some people may go like, how's that negative? Like, no. That means they're stopping and going, whoa, do we need to take a hard look? And I'm of the opinion is like, yes, they do.
Yep.
So these are all the positive signs that Disney's starting to look at it and go like, hey, we can't do this anymore. So that's my light at the end of the tunnel. That's my thing of complaining and saying is like, even though we're going to be critical, there are things that Disney looks like they're finally paying attention to. Mm-hmm. And they can no longer ignore it. And it's coming from the people who love Disneyland and truly understand what's going on and are brave enough and strong-willed enough to speak up.
Right.
And say what you need to say.
Mm-hmm.
So for everybody out there that's super excited about, everything's fantastic, hey, man, I'm not here to pull you down and say you're dumb. But I'm also here to just tell you that be real about what you're doing, and if you really want to get the best out of your company and out of Disney, then demand more.
Well, you got to, I guess, manage your expectations, right?
Well, yeah, and that's real life. So and that's real life.
Yeah.
So the again though, I'm telling you guys,
yep.
I'm still white-pilled with this stuff. I'm still of the mind
that
it's beginning to turn around. I'm still of the mind that they need the sheer fact that it looks like at least they're beginning to at least talk about making these steps. The fact that they're talking about it alone is a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because they weren't talking about this 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. They weren't talking about this kind of stuff.
Right.
Okay, now they are. And that alone is evidence that the pushback that shows like ours and people who think like we do, it's working.
Mm-hmm.
It's working, and we can get Disney and Disneyland and Disney back to a place where it isn't so weird and so oddly divisive when they're trying not to be. And all these stupid things that they've done that make no sense and they drive people out are going to go away.
Right.
And so Disneyland needs a return back to true inclusivity, true diversity, and and not worried about someone being hurt here. It's about accepting everybody and finding your place there and your place of happiness there.
Sure.
The big thing is, remember everybody, it's Disneyland, not Igerland.
There you go. All right. Excellent.
We need to make a shirt. that says that.
Yes, we do. Okay, well, that's...
All right.
Any final thoughts, Becky? Are you good with it? Okay.
No, nothing.
Good.
I can't top that.
Okay, all right. Well, that being said, let's wrap up episode 203 with our coverage of D23. We let the majority of other podcasters get all hyphy over it the day after they came out. We kind of let the dust settle and marinate, as Becky said, and we kind of have some logical thoughts into all this. Overall, we're excited. Just manage and tamper your expectations. Yeah,
the boat is turning into the right direction.
Yes,
it is.
The boat, and by the way, there are 2 boats coming, so
oh my gosh.
so you're gonna have a chance to equally do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at info@leavingtodaypodcast.com. Do follow us on Instagram at Leaving Today Podcast. Also, X, formerly known as Twitter, at Leaving Today Pod. I want to do more on that. I'm not very active with that, but I really want to. And also do go to YouTube and check out LTP Lounge, because we will be ramping that up again, starting with our next week's episode, or 204. That evening, we're going to start recording more for that. What else?
When you're planning your next trip, definitely check out our good friends at the Eden Rock Hotel. Go to their website directly and enter the code Eden Magic, that's EDENMAGIC, for a 30% discount.
Yes. Awesome. And Becky, where can people find out more information about you?
You can find me on Instagram at Becky_Weimer. That's BECKY_WEIM as in Mickey Mouse, ER.
Awesome. All right. And do reach out to her. She's very talkative, and I will assume will answer your questions, or hopefully.
Definitely.
All right. For more witty banter, for deep acolyte talk, for deep Star Wars knowledge, where can people find you, Woody?
You can find me for that part of it on the Mando Show. And then you can find me on my socials, which are Instagram and Twixter. Instagram being the main one. I do very little, but I do a little bit on Twixter. Both are the same handle, HAXGOALIE, Haxgole.
Okay.
DM me there. I respond to all my DMs.
All right. And we do encourage you guys to reach out to us if you want to help be on the show. We make it simple for you on Patreon. Go and follow us there. And if you want to come on the show, do drop us a line. We'd love to hear your input. We want to share our passion with you and maybe learn something from one another. All right. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day or evening or work hour to listen to us. We love you very much. Adventures out there, and we'll see you in the parks.
Bye.
See ya.
A new world order, Udi. A new world order.
Don't get me going.
Okay.
No, I will give you one.
Not that one. Pick a different one.
I am a good button pusher. Can I have the pumpkin brulee, please? Thank you. You pushed the wrong button.
I did. I pushed the wrong button.
That's what he said.
Wait, how do I get you bigger?
You broke it.
Yeah.
Snack break. I feel like Udi's gonna lose it with the news.
I've got tacos waiting for me.
Oh, man. Where's my invite? No bed sheets.
Why are you yelling at me?
Because I like yelling at you.
You're funny. Ow, that hurt. Don't make me smile like that. Ow. But you make me hot. It's so close, I can feel it.
Kitty.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
Boy, was my face red.